education, we'll never hit adoption. We'll never hit adoption without education. So it's important to get there. And also, because I learned a long time ago, the only true way to succeed in life, if you want to be successful, is to bring people along with you. And everybody learns or understands at different paces. And when I first got into the cryptocurrency space in 2016, it was exciting, but it was very scary. I'm sure a lot of you feel that today, but just imagine the resources we had back then were few and far between. And now there's tons of information out there, but the problem right now, there's a lot of misinformation. So our goal is to bring you something that will get everything in one place and continue to teach you, because just like any kind of education, education never really ends. You know, it's a funny thing. I was speaking at a conference in Miami this past weekend, and it wasn't a crypto event. It was called a wealth explosion event. There was people from many different industries speaking, and I got a chance to speak about cryptocurrency. And one thing that's prevalent from seeing that, and I asked the room that, I said, how many people here have finished their education? A few people raise their hands because they're thinking, oh, high school or college or bachelor's or doctorate or whatever. But education in life never ceases, and the world is constantly changing. So what you knew 10 years ago, it can be beneficial, but it also could be irrelevant, and you want to keep up with the times. And the times are changing, and you can look back at history with technology, and I'm going to touch on that when I get into a few of my slides. But technology is evolving, and when technology takes place, it's ridiculed, it's skeptic. You know, there's people are skeptical at first, but eventually it hits adoption, and those that have that vision or can see that, can position themselves, can benefit financially. Eventually, everybody will use the technology, but not everybody's going to benefit financially. We're all on the internet today. Not many of us participated from the rise and the beginnings of the internet, but we're all using it. Vehicles, same thing. Electricity is the same thing. So when we look at what's happening, the one true major sector that is outdated and obsolete, especially with the technology that we have today, is money and finance. And you look at how most monetary systems work, there's cracks in them. And we're seeing those cracks in the form of inflation. We're seeing those cracks in the form of just, you know, money being frozen from people that are doing nothing illegal, or from, I mean, multiple facets we're seeing happen. Skyrocketing prices. That's just it's because of inflation. It's not because of a virus or a war. Those things can temporarily move a price, but the long-term rise in price is caused by inflation and poor monetary policy. And you understand, none of us are really taught about money in school. None of us are taught about finances, how the financial system works, how the Federal Reserve operates, how banking operates, because those systems are not designed for you and I to prosper. Those are designed to keep us in a little square, in a little box. And, you know, people occasionally will have success, but the true nature of what I see in cryptocurrency is freedom, free markets. Let markets decide without any manipulation or control, because typically those that are put in power will get corrupted. And many of you may have heard this analogy. I don't remember who said it first, but power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if we put people in charge of the monetary supply, it doesn't matter what country you're in, eventually that could become corrupted. So the best way to do that is invert that. Instead of having a one or a select few people that govern the many, flip it up to where you have the masses holding the few that are in power accountable for their decisions. And that's what decentralization does to us. It flips that power, gives it back to the people, and allows us to choose markets, to not exclude anybody. This is a system of inclusion. If you've ever felt left out in life or in any aspect of life or business due to anything where you're from, the color of your skin, your religion, your sex, or anything like that, just know that with cryptocurrency and decentralized networks, it gives everybody equal access. It doesn't exclude anybody because you don't have people making decisions. It's a full network of decentralization, but behind those networks are people running those networks, and everybody is holding everybody else accountable. If one bad actor tries to insert malicious code or do anything like that in a decentralized network, the rest of the network rejects it. And that's why you see systems that do not fail. The Bitcoin blockchain has been running since 2009, and it has not stopped, not had any downtime, because it is not run by one computer or one central server like we're used to. A few years ago, Wells Fargo had one of their central servers go down, a bank, and no one could withdraw funds across the country because that one server was down. That's a central point of failure. And then you look at what's happening with cryptocurrency, and those networks cannot be stopped once you get true decentralization of the network. And so that is what you have when it comes to that. And also many people work and send money back to different countries. So imagine a system that allows you to send money anywhere in the world instantly for little to no fees. And that's what cryptocurrency can do. I know people, I met a driver from Zimbabwe that lives in the US, but sends money back to his mom. And when he was sending regular, money through Western Union or other methods traditionally, he would lose 40, 50, 60% of his value before it got to her. And they were experiencing hyperinflation. So when he goes to send the money, it may be worth one thing. And by the time she gets it a few days later, the purchasing power of that money could be much less. So they turned to Bitcoin. They turned to Bitcoin on top of their failed economy of hyperinflation. They turned to Bitcoin. And similar story with an attorney from Venezuela with the same thing, that cryptocurrency was able to save his family when they experienced hyperinflation. Because we think attorneys, no matter what country you live in, attorneys typically make good money. But what happens when that money becomes worthless? And that's what happened in Venezuela. So true decentralized systems that aren't prone to control, that's where we're going with this. So, but there's an education process. If you want to get in early, there's a price to pay. And that's what we give you, the ability to learn with on-demand learnings that are going to be in each package that you can access at any time, that we're constantly going to be adding to, but also live webinars and Q&As, and the ability to not only just plug in and watch a video. I mean, anybody can do that, but also give you access to talk to us, because the space is constantly changing and evolving, and we've got to keep up with that. So I'm gonna start with my slides just to give you some idea, just some of the main points I want to talk about in that case for cryptocurrency. What I was saying, I could probably talk about that for a good bit. So can anybody see my screen? Heather, can you guys see my PowerPoint?
We can see it.
All right. So I kind of already prefaced this with telling you all the potential of cryptocurrency. So this is just a slide that I've always used as far as this picture whenever I talk at events and conferences about cryptocurrency, because most people come to the space because you want to make money, and there's a lot of potential in that. And we're going to teach you the different avenues within cryptocurrency to where you can plug into DeFi, or decentralized finance, NFTs and trading, and so many aspects to where you can earn some money in the crypto space and make money, but it's so much deeper than that. And that's what I was talking about before, all those implications that most people don't think about when they think about cryptocurrency, but that's where it is. And if you're familiar with the movie Matrix, he's basically giving Neo the option to, take the blue pill and go back to the lie that you believed was truth, or take the red pill and open your eyes to the possibilities. I came to the cryptocurrency space to make money. I'm not going to get you wrong. I'm not going to tell you it was a moral movement. I came here because I needed to recoup some losses from a prior bad investment. But when I started to dig deep below the surface and dig deeper, I realized the true implications of what this technology could do. And it took me to the point where I came here for the money, but I stayed for the revolution that is happening in this cryptocurrency and blockchain and decentralized space. All right. So, and I mentioned this earlier as well. History shows that technology is never embraced at first. And I'll explain these two pictures for you real quick, just to get an idea why this is important, because there are going to be people that don't understand this, that are skeptical, whether it's friends and family, which I experienced a lot in the early on. Now they're all telling me they wish they'd have listened. But also from people in power that don't understand it, or people that feel threatened by it. And the media is one of those that they feel threatened by it. But this isn't the first time this has happened. Newspapers said that the internet was just a fad when it was first coming out. Nobody's going to have computers all over their homes. And then when people started to adopt home computers, they said, no, nobody's going to put their credit cards in and shop online. And look at where we are today. I mean, just about every fast food chain and restaurant, you can go online in their app and purchase something instantly with your credit card. So that's just how technology changes. But it was ridiculed at first. People thought it was never going to catch on. Same thing with Bitcoin, same thing with cryptocurrency, same thing with the way blockchain is going to revolutionize so many different industries. And the picture on the left is a funny story, because it also talks about how regulation could stifle innovation. And many people in power that are in the governments understand this, which is why they're treading very lightly, and they're dancing around the ideas of trying to regulate the space, but they don't truly understand how yet, because they don't want to be the ones to stifle innovation. Because what happens when you stifle innovation? Innovation always finds a way. And in many cases, it could exclude that country or area that had strict regulations that stifled the innovation, and they don't benefit or prosper from the growth of that industry. And so in the UK and the United Kingdom, when automobiles were first becoming a big thing, they passed a law that you needed 3 people to operate a motor vehicle. You need to have a driver, a spotter that sat next to the driver, and then a flag man that walked ahead to warn people that a car was coming. Now, we all laugh at that today, but that truly stifled innovation in the United Kingdom, and they eventually repealed that law, but the damage was already done. They never became a powerhouse in the automobile industry, and that's why, because they never embraced that technology. And eventually, the better technology is always going to win out. No matter how much skepticism or criticism, it will win. And all you have to do is study history to understand that. So that's where we are with the financial space. Waiting 3 to 5 days for your money to clear from your bank, before you can have access to it when you deposit it. That's our kids and our future grandkids are not going to understand that world, because cryptocurrency can make payments instant and effortless without the need of any intermediary or third party. So let's talk about a blockchain real quick. Blockchain came on the scene when Bitcoin was first created. When Bitcoin first started to be mined, it was creating blocks of information. You don't have to understand the in-depth information about blockchain, but it's a decentralized digital ledger that can store information, transaction information, any other information that from anyone that's using the network can be stored. And depending on which blockchain it is, every set time period, a new block of information is created, and those blocks build on top of each other. And the whole network is verifying that. So those become immutable because no one can go back and change what was written in past blocks. So it creates a permanent ledger that no one can alter. I've heard stories of people, some friends that used to live in Vietnam, and whenever new powers took over before they fled to the US, they were wealthy. They had plenty of property and boats, and all of a sudden the public ledger was erased of all of their ownership of those items, and all of a sudden they had nothing. Immutable records gives you so much potential in terms of proof of records that so many places are going to turn to this. And just know that cryptocurrency is what powers a blockchain. There needs to be a financial incentive to secure the network. And then when you create an economy around that cryptocurrency or that coin or token, that's what provides true value for the market and demand. So it's a decentralized digital ledger. It keeps records of all transactions, keeps it encrypted, which means that the information cannot be altered. Not only can't be altered, but it keeps that some of the information, like your identity, hidden. It's not completely anonymous, because if you ever send cryptocurrency to a wallet that actually is linked to your identity, someone could trace it back to you. But at first glance, people don't know. It's called pseudonymous, which means it gives you the ability to be anonymous when you want to be. Now, there are privacy cryptocurrencies that do give you that privacy, because not everybody wants to see everything that they're spending money on. Doesn't matter if you're, I'm not talking about people that are breaking the law. I'm talking about everybody. We all have a fundamental interest in privacy. And data sharing. The blockchain can be used for more than a transfer of currency. Currency is just one application on the blockchain. Share contracts, records, non-fungible tokens. I'll tell you about those in a few slides down, and any other type of data. So cryptocurrency, we like to compare it to traditional money, which is fiat currency. And fiat currency is a term that's used for any currency that's not backed by any commodity. It just, the only thing that gives it value is your trust in the government or the entity that's creating that money. And we've seen what's happened with that trust over time. Now, there's still people today. My brother-in-law, when I first got into cryptocurrency, swore to me up and down that the US dollar was still backed by gold. And I actually had to go find the information and show him that, hey, look, before you were born, in the early 70s, Nixon took us off of that gold standard, and the dollar was no longer backed by gold. But what gives cryptocurrency value? The market decides. The demand and the supply create a true value, just like anything else in the past. Money has evolved from seashells and sand to gold, gold pieces, to silver pieces, to coins, to paper money. There's so much, but it's whatever the market decides has value. So cryptocurrency is an online currency, and we live in a digital world right now where so many things can be done digitally. Everybody's walking around. We went from people being skeptical about computers in the 90s to now we all have computers in the palms of our hands and in our pockets with our cell phones. So even in developing countries, they have basic cell networks that give them basic smartphone access. I'm not talking about just regular cell phones, but the cheap Nokia phones that are at least your basic smartphones. Anyone that has one of those can have access to the global financial market with cryptocurrency. And it's secure for holding assets. It's a decentralized network that it provides trust in a trustless environment. You don't have to know the person on the other end you're transacting with. You know, they're not going to send you fake cryptocurrency. There's systems in place that allow you to transact. I've been able to hire people to do some work for me in countries on the other side of the world and be able to pay them instantly with cryptocurrency. And over time, as the dollars become inflated, cryptocurrency can be a hedge against inflation. Now, don't get me wrong, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies, but we teach you in this system how to learn, how to do your own research and study the concepts of each cryptocurrency, because you and I can create a cryptocurrency tomorrow. That doesn't mean it's going to have value or go up. It's all about the technology, the development, the use case, the supply. There's so many different things to understand about that. And that's what we teach you, to evaluate those, because there are some that are truly going to revolutionize the world. And a lot of this I said already. Cryptocurrency can have a limited supply. Our dollars, you've seen that. The US has printed over 40+% of all dollars in circulation were printed over the last 2 years. And most of them within a 12-month period in that 2 years. So just keep that in mind. That's why you see prices going up. Because all of a sudden you see news articles talking about inflation, record-breaking inflation that no one saw coming. And I can show you posts I made 2.5 years ago when they first started to print, stimulus checks, and even before the pandemic, the year before, when the Federal Reserve was having to bail out banks overnight, what's called repo loans. And so they were infusing money into the market so banks would have liquidity. And that's when I started telling people inflation is going to hit us in the next few years. And it has. It's not that I was psychic, but when you truly understand how economics works and what's happening with our money supply, there needs to be a better way. And there's so many different things here. Cryptocurrency, the biggest things that I haven't talked about here is peer-to-peer fast transactions, which I said that before. I can send it to someone all over the world, but I don't need a middleman. I don't need MasterCard or Visa or my bank or anyone else to approve that transaction, to verify it. It is true freedom to transact and interact with whoever, whenever you want. There's no cross-border restrictions. If I want to pay somebody across another border, it doesn't matter where that imaginary line is. I can send that cryptocurrency back and forth and pay people, and it's tamper-proof. So just to give you some high-level overview, I'm going to breeze through these slides kind of quickly because I just want to give you some of the basics to understand and where to point you. So most of the time, to acquire cryptocurrency right now, the best way for most people to do it is to buy it on exchanges, which means you link a bank account or credit card to any of these different exchanges, and you can buy Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies once you get set up and verify your identity within those systems. Now, there's other ways to do it. Now, if you do work, you can charge cryptocurrency. I've paid people in cryptocurrency for work if I can, get them to accept it. And I've had people pay me in cryptocurrency for work that I've done. So you can also earn cryptocurrency that way, but you need to acquire it in those platforms. And even to join DEFINITY, to get into our programs, even our enrollment process is an education, because you have to get set up to buy cryptocurrency. You have to buy the BNB coins, the Binance coins, and then you have to, so you understand how to set up a wallet and all those things, which is why we provide those videos outside of the system, because anybody that wants to come in, just enrolling in our program gives you some education, because it's one thing for us to show you how to do it. The biggest thing we're going to challenge you throughout these programs and the courses and the modules is to do it. Don't just watch a video on how to set something up. Do it. Don't watch a video on how to send cryptocurrency. Do it. But in these exchanges, you can buy cryptocurrency. Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, Crypto.com, and Binance are some of the bigger ones. And some of these other ones listed here, we don't really recommend, only because they don't truly give you the ability to withdraw cryptocurrency. Now, we talk more about that when we go through different types of wallets and which types of wallets are best. And if you're just getting started, buying on one of these exchanges could be fine. But as you go, you're going to want to be able to withdraw your cryptocurrency and store it into a wallet where you truly have 100% control. Whereas, just to give you an example, like Coinbase or any of these others are no different than your bank account. If something happens by government order, or the company decides to freeze your funds because they may think is suspicious, they can do that without any just cause. And that's why it's important to have true custody of your assets. And we teach you that in our packages. But Robinhood, PayPal, and Venmo, they don't allow you to withdraw cryptocurrency. You can only buy within the platform. And if you wanted to get it out, you'd have to sell it out. So you don't truly own the cryptocurrency. You just own the idea of having that cryptocurrency. Now, I didn't mention Cash App, because Cash App does now allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin to a wallet. I've actually purchased Bitcoin in Cash App quite a few times. And then there's Bitcoin ATMs. My first Bitcoin purchase was an ATM. Now you do pay a premium for those because you're paying with cash and just the cash handling fee and just the labor to have someone to go out and empty out the machines when they get full or stock it back with cash whenever it needs more cash. Those ATMs have typically on average about a 5 to 10% fee, but those are available as well. And then there's ways to earn cryptocurrency through different programs, shopping programs and card programs. So we teach you a lot of those different ways to earn cryptocurrency just through doing things you're doing already. And I'll just say that when I went to Miami this past weekend, I booked a room through this one site I have listed here, Lolly. I booked the room for for 4 days there, and I've got $40 back in Bitcoin already from that purchase. So we show you how to do that within the program. So we go into wallets. There's different wallets to use, ease of use. So you don't have to understand all of that. Hot wallets, cold wallets. We get into that deep into the program, but just know this is something that you can take bite-sized pieces and learn little by little. We walk you through a setup of a wallet, how to set up your security, and all of those important features. DeFi is a big factor in the cryptocurrency space right now. Decentralized finance. Decentralized finance, an open and global financial system built for the internet age. I mentioned this earlier. Everybody has access to this. Anybody with a phone and a cell signal or internet signal can get in and participate in DeFi protocols. And to compare it to what's called centralized finance, that's what you're familiar with your bank or Wall Street or financial markets, stocks and bonds. Well, in a decentralized world, everybody can participate. And think about where a lot of that money in the centralized finance comes from. Many of you will have money stored in banks. You work hard, you store your money, you save it, and you put it in a bank. The bank doesn't hardly, if they pay you anything, it's a fraction of a percent of interest annually to pay it. So you could have $50,000 in the bank and they'll send you a check for 25 cents at the end of the year. They don't hardly pay you anything, but they are making a premium on your money in the market. And the whole time your money's sitting there, not only is inflation decreasing your purchasing power, but you're not earning you're not putting that money to work. And in a decentralized finance world, you can lend that out. You can also be the one that's on the borrowing end. There's many aspects of the decentralized finance world that you can participate in to earn a yield on your funds rather than just having them sit there. And we teach you how to do that. There's different levels of risk in different systems, but that's no different than traditional markets where, typically those that have the potential for higher yield have more risk. And we show you how to evaluate the risk that you want to take in each one. It's blockchain based, so it's form of finance. So it doesn't rely on any central financial intermediaries, no brokerages, no exchanges, no banks. And if you ever seen any of those buildings that they operate out of, they're pretty massive and they're pretty substantial. So now you also have an idea where a lot of your money is going, where the profit they're making on your money, the reason it's not coming back to you, it's going into the pockets of the executives of the company. It's going into building these massive bank buildings and financial buildings, which are going to be a thing of the past. Those are going to be museums one day. And it's happening sooner rather than later. I'm actually broadcasting this video. I'm recording it. We are in an old bank building. We bought an old Chase Bank, and my computer, my desk is set up in what used to be the bank manager's office. Those are becoming museums because the system is changing, technology is changing, and DeFi restores power back to the people. So we teach you the different aspects of decentralized finance and how to benefit from those, and also how to evaluate your risk. And when it comes to trading, the reason I use the slides, a lot of people tell me I don't want to be a trader yet. I just want to invest. And everybody falls into that category. An investor or a trader, there is some overlap, because the whole point of an investor is eventually you'd like to be able to cash out. But like what I like to tell people is my goal is not to be able to cash out my cryptocurrency for dollars. It's whenever I get to the point where I'm ready to do that, I don't have to cash it out. I can spend it, and it's increased my purchasing power. But whether you're an investor or a trader, there's some overlap, and we teach you how to identify what is your strategy. And there's nothing wrong with having a mixed strategy, because I'm both of these in this circle. I'm an investor. I am holding some for the long term, but there's a portion that I like to trade with. And we teach you that. There's a website I like to show people, dcabtc.com. If you ever get a chance, check it out. Just go to it. It gives you the option to put in, like if you were to buy Bitcoin over time, like multiple times, recurring purchases. Like I've had a $50 Bitcoin recurring purchase going since early 2017 that has executed every single Friday. The power of that over the long term, many people underestimate that. They want to think about putting lots of money in, but they don't really think of the power of consistently buying over time, no matter what's happening in the market. And we show you how to do that and the benefits of that, and also how to develop a trading strategy if you want to be a trader, because trading involves patience and emotions. That's really the biggest part. Most people are not good traders, even though you can look back at the market and say, oh, it's easy. Buy it when it's low, sell it when it's higher. And when it goes back down, buy some more and it goes back up. It sounds easy, but many people let the lack of patience or the lack of control over their emotions stop them from doing that. And then not having proper risk management, which also leads to more emotions, and having an analysis in to where we help you, we show you how to build a strategy that fits what you want to do and what type of trader you want to be, because there's different types that we teach you about. Not everybody wants to be a day trader. Some people just want to be a swing trader, which they may make one trade every few days or every few weeks, depending on what the market's doing. Whatever that is, we can help you identify what that is you want to do. And then non-fungible tokens is a big aspect of what's coming up. And you may have heard of it, you may not, but NFT is what you hear a lot about. And it stands for non-fungible token. And all that really means is a non-fungible token is the opposite of a fungible token. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of other cryptocurrencies are what's called fungible token. You send me one Bitcoin, I send you another Bitcoin back. It doesn't matter which Bitcoin you have because they're all valued the same equally. Non-fungible token is a blockchain token that allows you to create uniqueness. And then people are also able to attach a picture, a video, an image, or unlockable content, music, anything to that to make it unique. Artwork. I mean, so there's so many different things you can do when you think of the term collectibles and art were the first two major industries to really see a rise in the popularity of NFTs. So like in baseball cards, it would be a Mickey Mantle's rookie card or a record-breaking home run ball. It's similar to real world collectibles. And there's going to be a time where NFTs are going to be paired up with real world collectibles where the digital and physical world meet. And that NFT could be something as a certificate of authenticity, which means that, okay, if you know that when this record-breaking home run ball was signed and sold on the market, they created an NFT to go along with it. So if someone's trying to sell you that ball and they don't have the NFT to go with it, there's a pretty good chance that's not the real one. So it can prevent counterfeits and forgeries in physical items. So it stands for non-fungible token. It could be a rare collectible, art, photography, music, video, even a meme. And once you own an NFT, you have proof of receipt via your ledger. So you can look and see which wallets own those different NFTs. And there's so much use case for it. Right now, you may be thinking, you're hearing about these crazy images, and some of them are called, some of them have apes on them. So they have these monkeys on the picture that's associated with the NFT, and they're selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what gives that value is it is scarce, but also the utility behind it. People within that club get access to multiple things online, and more real world events, in-person events are happening that are giving unique and limited access to the holders of those NFTs. So utility, if you are a small business, big business, individual brand, you need to figure out how to utilize NFTs into your space, whether it's, artists and musicians, of course, are realizing that because they can now control their own work without having museums or record labels control 99% of what they're making, and they only get a little piece of it. They have true ownership and control of their artwork, of their craft. But you can create an NFT. I'm helping a yogurt shop in my hometown create an NFT line for a customer loyalty program. And it's going to be a collectible. And as people collect more and more, they get more and more access to different things and different discounts within that. So wherever you are, whether you're a charity, whether you're a business, a brand, you can utilize NFTs. Gary Vaynerchuk, many people know him as Gary V. He's a serial entrepreneur that talks all over the world. And he's very much into the NFT space now. And he has sold millions of dollars of NFTs in no time because he has a brand that people want to utilize. So he creates an NFT that gives access to him. So certain NFTs give access to a lunch or a dinner or to meet with him in person at one of his events, multiple different things. He's fractionalized his time and sold it as NFTs. So there's so many different aspects of that. Even in the gaming space where you can have, people are spending millions of dollars in Fortnite on these V-Bucks to buy different weapons and skins and all that. And imagine where you can have total ownership, control of that, to where you buy that item as an NFT, and when you're done with it, you can sell it, or you can even rent it out to people, loan it out to people, and earn an income for renting that out within a game. And so now you see how it gives control back to the people. The possibilities are endless. NFTs are going to track land ownership. They're going to track titles, verify college degrees. There's so many different things that NFTs are going to revolutionize that we are only scratching the surface of that potential. So being able to understand that space will help you better understand how to benefit from it instead of just buying an NFT that's an image of a gorilla and not really understanding why you're doing it or what's the purpose, or you can't understand why people are giving value to it. And it's really because of the potential and the utility that it's going to have in the future. And the metaverse plays into that because we're seeing even Facebook changing their name to Meta. The world is shifting, and the virtual world is something that's going to be a complement to the physical world. It's not going to replace the physical world, but imagine something that gives so many people access to be able to participate. We saw what happened during COVID when the world was locked down. Meetings were still able to happen. And in 2020, whenever everything shut down, I actually went into a decentralized virtual world called Decentraland. And I was able to navigate through Decentraland, talk to people in there, talk to real people through my microphone, go to meetups. And there's so much potential. But also imagine, before I was talking about NFTs, imagine an artist being able to create a digital museum within a metaverse and people being able to walk in with the digital avatars and buy that artwork. Or maybe it's a clothing shop and you're able to buy a shirt or a pair of pants that you see on the wall. And when you buy that in the metaverse, that company actually ships it to you in the real world. So it's almost like metaverse is a 3D version of that website. If you have a website where you sell, say, clothing, then now you can have a metaverse store where you sell clothing. And it's another draw, it's another market. And many people with limitations to travel due to not just finances, but also, or not just pandemic, but think about people that may be limited, that can't leave the house for health reasons, or so many different things that could stop that, but they're able to participate and meet people in the real world in something called the metaverse, which is a virtual world. And the metaverse is going to be a series of multiple different virtual worlds that are going to be connected, and you'll be able to jump from each one depending on what each one has to offer. Potential for metaverse is huge. It's upwards of over $12 trillion is what the potential has within that market. So that's why it's important to understand it, because then you can make the proper decisions to position yourself in the right place to make decisions to benefit from it. And then within that also is going to be play to earn games, blockchain-based gaming. I mentioned to you earlier about NFTs within gaming. So there's going to be games that's going to bring digital identity, assets, and ownership. It puts it into the player's hands. Remember, we were talking earlier about how cryptocurrency and DeFi gives power back to the people. Well, this, instead of having these large gaming companies controlling everything, and you're paying them for these assets, and they can stop your account at any time. Having even your identity within that play to earn game is an NFT, your own unique username. So it puts the gaming industry back into the hands of the people, making it decentralized. So that's really all I have for this. Hopefully the biggest thing I want to stress is that, hopefully you've seen from what I've been talking about that there's a lot of potential in this space. There's also a lot to learn. And sometimes it could seem, the term I've heard used quite a bit, it's like drinking from a fire hose. And I hope none of you have done it, but if you try to visualize that, how fast the water comes out of a water hose, like when they're trying to put a fire out, and if you try to drink out of that, how that would be. But you just need to take little bites, little nuggets each day. You're going to learn. And so the best part about that, like I said, we don't just show you a video on what is a wallet. No, we're going to show you how to set up a wallet, why to do it. And we're going to challenge you, if you're in any of the live sessions, to do that right then and there. When I was in Miami and I was talking about crypto, I didn't just tell them about some scenario. I had everybody in that room download a wallet. I had everybody in that room learn how to send a request to receive cryptocurrency while they were there. So they went through those steps. And because knowing is only part of the process, you have to do it to truly know it. If you don't do it, then you don't really know it. I can read a book on how to fix my truck, but if I don't actually do it, then I haven't really learned anything. And that's where I think a lot of people are. A lot of people think they have knowledge, but they've never applied it. And also a big part of what stops us is fear from a lack of understanding. But sometimes it's also our mindset, to where our mind is trying to protect us. Our body's trying to protect us from doing something that may seem scary. And sometimes we need to learn how to distinguish that, when to listen to those feelings and when to override that with thought, with the proper mindset and strategy. Like, if I don't take a chance and I don't get in this, I'm going to miss it. Because many people are going to look at this and they're going to miss it. I hear people all the time today that talk to me constantly about how they missed it. They missed it. This is still in the early infant stages, this whole space. So you haven't missed it, but some of those same people 5 to 10 years from now are going to be saying the same thing, because that's their paradigm. That's where they're stuck at. And if you learn how to change that mindset and flip the switch to where you're open to understanding, you take the time to learn little pieces, you become more and more, more and more potential every day and every time you learn something. And that's what we're going to give you, is continuing education, constantly coming back and tweaking and evolving and making it better, and listen to the feedback of everybody about what do you want to hear, what do you want to learn, what do you want us to improve on. And we're going to continue to build this program over and over and over again. This is not a once and done program. This is something we're going to continue to pour into, because education never ends. So with that, that's really all I have. I don't know if Heather, if you want to ask, see if anybody had any questions or anything.
If anybody does, please type them in the chat. The next 30 seconds, I will type them in the chat right now, so we can get your questions answered if you have any. This was amazing, Wayne. Guys, every time he does this training on Monday and Wednesday, he always opens it up the same way, goes over stuff for people that are here for the first time, and we always learn something new every single week. He always puts a twist on it. It's like, what's coming, what's coming, what's coming. You're always trying to, for me, it's always getting that knowledge. And I'm not one of those people that are going to miss this education. If you have people that have actually paid to get in this program, guys, this is what we paid for. And I know soon our real education platform is going to be up any day now. So, make sure that the people that you invited here, we're truly here to help. That's exactly why Wayne's here to teach, because it's about helping people. And you can't afford to miss education. It's like going to college and you paid $40,000 to go to college and then you never show up.
Yep.
It's the same thing. So you're going to learn. I mean, you're either going to pass or you're going to fail. But it's up to you to come here and take advantage of this training. I know sometimes you probably look at it and say, oh, he did that last week. And then, okay, let me get off. I already seen that. But no, there's a twist at the end of it every single time. Right in the middle, it's something new we're learning every single week. So just make sure that the people that, you invited to this community come here and hear this. So when basic package 1, 2, and 3 come, they've got what they need in the very, very beginning. So thank you so much, Wayne. This was, as always, as every single week, I always get a pleasure out of listening to you and learning, because I got in this platform to learn. That is why I'm here. And for anything else is to learn and help other people understand that crypto, this is going to be here. It's coming. It's going to be here for the masses. I always tell people within 5 to 10 years, everybody is going to be using it, let alone knowing about it. We know about it now, and there's so much stuff out there that, just tells us so many different things. We don't know whether we're coming or we're going when it comes to crypto. Isn't it nice to be on a platform where now we can know what it is that that we need to do? We have sources that we can trust, and being in a community together and get empowered to understand what's going to be going on in the world, whether we like it or not. Are you going to be participating in it, or are you just going to be existing in it? You have to make that decision. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow at, oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock my time, 9 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be doing an overview. Invite people to that overview. I'm hoping by next week sometime, I'm just throwing it out there, but I'm totally not sure that our platform is actually going to start running. I'm really, really excited for it. And I think Twan's on here with us tonight. Maybe he can give us a little update. I can stop talking, because I will talk for the next 10 minutes. Anybody who knows me knows that. But thank you so much, Wayne. We appreciate you. Love when you get on here and teach us every Monday and Wednesday. We can't afford to miss it. That's all I can say, is it can't afford to be missed or skipped, because it's powerful information. So thank you. Twan, you want to close us out, give us any updates, or are you here?
Hey, what's going on? I'm here. Just very
Awesome.
exciting Zoom. I actually loved it. Took a lot of notes, and I always appreciate Wayne and Heather for hosting this incredible crypto class / DeFi day. Honestly, we were very excited about how things are progressing. We had a lot of development behind the scenes. And, one of the cool things about where cryptocurrency is going right now is there's a lot of evolution and there's a lot of things are being developed right now. Some of the best metaverse projects right now are still in development right now. Some of the best play to earn games right now are still in development right now. And there's a lot of projects right now that are currently developing, because the truth is, you'll hear this terminology like DeFi, and Wayne did brushstroke on it, but DeFi, which is known as decentralized finance, actually this is a very new subtopic within the cryptocurrency space. Just literally just a year and a half ago, it blew up a year and a half ago, and it's evolving right now. So I will tell you this is like, we're very excited about the development of DEFINITY FI as a community. And we are definitely progressing. There's a lot of development happening behind the scenes. And so right now, I think the biggest thing a lot of people are looking at is like, when are we actually going to have the academy set up? And it really, truly is, Wayne. I mean, would you agree with me that you really didn't start really putting together the content, the information until like what? Really, you didn't start until like mid-January, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. But yeah, it's one of those things that every time we brainstorm, there's more and more stuff we could put in it. So I think that's what we talked about soon, very soon, we're going to roll out the first few packages and then really go from there. But that doesn't mean we're done with when 1, 2, and 3 come out and we're, finalizing 4, 5, and 6 to roll out next. We're not going to stop building on 1, 2, and 3 because there's always going to be new stuff for those categories. But yeah, I think it was, I would say probably December was around when we, really got going and really started creating all the content after, a lot of research and a lot of different, market research, and also seeing what was the most important things to add and how to organize the information.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So, and what's cool about this is that there is literally no project out there currently right now that is a decentralized project. Some of you guys are probably scratching your head. You're thinking, what does that even mean? Right? Just know that we truly are a living, breathing, decentralized project. We don't take any debit cards. We don't take credit card payments. There's no wire transfer. We actually are operating the entire thing on the blockchain. And for some of you guys, like that's like just a big, like mind blown. But I assure you this, that as you go through the academy and you learn how the whole system works, you'll be able to actually see how amazing this community is going to be. And I just want to say this in terms of wrapping things up. This is definitely a work in progress. And I hope everyone's going to be actually excited and actually hang on for a ride of your life, because what I truly believe, this is more than an academy. It's a community. It's a community of like-minded people that really have the same vision of being able to find a way to all walks of life. There's lawyers, doctors, there's retail workers, there's teachers that are part of this community. And what we believe is that this is a community where all walks of life can be part of the community, and they want to leverage the crypto space. They want to find a plan B. They want to be able to carve out a lifestyle freedom from this type of community. We also want to travel to exotic places around the world and talk about some of the best strategies out there. And I honestly believe that people just don't have those type of associations. And we believe that this community is going to be able to provide that. But the most important part is that most people, I would say 97% of people, have no clue how to leverage the cryptocurrency space. And we're very fortunate to have Wayne and the educators that have truly said, you know what, we want to be part of this. Before they even understood the whole idea, they just knew that they wanted to educate the mass market because we need it. And so with this community and teaming up with Wayne, the educators, we truly believe that this is going to be a once in a lifetime community that's being put together with all the benefits in place. So I'm really looking forward to traveling the world and be able to actually spend time with people like Wayne and all you guys. I mean, this is going to be a whole lot bigger than anything else out there. And it is a work in progress. We are in development stage right now. And just want to make sure that everyone understands that as we are in the development stage, hang on, because we are going to evolve over time. So that's my last thoughts. I wasn't going to say anything. I was trying to think in my head, okay, what do I say? But that's what really is right out of my heart. And I really do appreciate Wayne really providing this content for everybody today. So that's pretty much it, Wayne. Closing comments for you, and then we'll just end the call.
I think that's really it. My biggest challenge to everybody is, if you learn something tonight, take that, share it with somebody else, but also if there's anything you could do now, do it. If you haven't already set up an account to even buy your first crypto, at least start to get the account set up. You don't have to buy anything yet. And then, we'll walk you through the process, but don't sit back and wait and procrastinate. Just take a little bit of action. You don't have to do much, but start taking some action.
Sounds good.
Oh,
All right. Thank you so much, Wayne. Heather, thank you for hosting it. I appreciate everyone that's hopping on in. We'll look forward to seeing you guys at the next event. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.
good night, everybody.